Okay, it's early Thursday morning, and Duchess and I are ready to finish this bookshelf. I've got my coffee, and I've got the bookshelf mocked up a little bit to try and find out what wood I want to put on there. So I've got a bunch of options. I've got, they're all going to be oak, but some are rough sawn, some are smooth, planed, and jointed, and I'm trying to decide what I like better. So I'm going to put it on film, look at it, and then figure out what I like. So here's an example of rough sawn next to the planed oak. And it wouldn't be this color. It would be stained. Yeah. Somebody throw a few up and we'll take a look. Okay, Exhibit A rough sawn board. I don't know if you can see that. Next to the bracket, next to the black. I kind of like the dark color. I think I'll go with the darker stain. But do I like this texture versus the smooth? Okay, I'm going to put the smooth up and we'll look at that. Here we go with the smooth look. Hard to tell on film. I'm going to have to play this back. I don't like the color. I definitely like it darker. Even from up here, the darker looks better. Something to bring out the highs and lows of the grain. Yeah, well, I'm going to stop this recording, look at both, and come back with an answer. Okay, the decision is made. I'm going to go with the smooth planed look. So here are 4 examples that I have. One of these is going to be the shelf. And I'm going to stain it a little darker brown. I'll have to experiment between linseed oil and a brown stain that I have. And then I kind of am going back and forth with the idea of having some kind of clear coat, shellac, or finish, whatever you want to call it, on there, or just leaving it with a stain. I don't know if I want a hardened finish or not. But here we go. We've got three options. Plain as in, normal oak. I'm going to be looking at both sides of the board for knots and imperfections and see what I like. Sometimes you want an imperfection. This board has a lot of different knots and a lot of crazy grain. Might get this wet and see what it might become. It's pretty interesting. All the imperfections sure would match the shelf brackets I made. I'm going to choose one and get to work. Okay, I've got it ripped and cut to length. It was previously planed, so that's in pretty good condition already. This is going to be the back, and this is going to be the bottom. So right now I'm going to go ahead and progress from 60 grit, maybe not 60, maybe 100, we'll see. But I'm going to progress up to 220, sand it down. I've got a little burning on the edge here from my blade. This is really hard wood, and I just know from working with it from experience, I know that it burns easily. It's hard, it's dense. You can't even screw a gripper screw through this without the screw heating up to the point where it most times just snaps off. If you try to pull it back out, it shears off inside the wood. So it's an interesting wood to work with, but it'll look good with this application. So I'm going to go ahead and sand through and meet you guys on the other side. That was the first time I used wood filler before, and at first I thought it was a little sketchy, like it wasn't going to work, but I think it did. This was quite a big hole, I think from an insect, some type of burrowing insect, and according to the directions it said let it cure for 2 to 6 hours. It's 2 to 6 hours later. I'm going to do my final sand. I think I'm at 180 right now. Try to get this off with 180, then do my final 220, and then I'll be on to stain. Okay, just let that dry and we'll stain it. Okay, I'm going to do a little experiment. I've got a can of old stain that I used on an entertainment center downstairs. So I'm going to compare this stain and boiled linseed oil and see which one I like best and go with that. I like this darker look, so I'm going to let this really soak in and then I'll take a look. The stain is applied and I've wiped off the excess. I went for as dark a penetration as I could. I really wanted a dark look. So now I'm going to prep the metalwork. And I believe I mentioned in the last video that I had a little surprise. Now I don't think this has ever been done before. Maybe it has and I just haven't seen it. But where this shelf is in contact with the wall and is in contact with the wood, I would like to apply some leather. So let me grab the leather and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So here is some black leather dye, and then I have some leather straps, and these leather straps will run the length of this. It'll run up this bracket and down, just enough to cover the spot weld, but not to go out past where the shelf is, so it'll stop before the curl. I'll dye this black, and then I'm going to glue it to the shelf. And I'll probably put some, no, I will put some here, not so that you'll see it, but again, so it will, everything will be insulated from itself. So this is really high quality leather. I bought it from someone on Etsy. That was the first purchase I've ever made on Etsy, and I've never even heard of Etsy.com prior to getting into this YouTube channel and doing crafts of my own, and I'm very, very pleased with this. If I can find where I purchased this leather, who I purchased it from, I'll put it in the description. You know what? One of these would make a really nice belt. If I can salvage some of this, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll make a nice belt out of it. Okay, I have enough for the back plate, which is 24 inches. The brackets turned out to be 11.5 inches each long, and I'm going to go ahead and use this on the front side. This is black. My goodness, look at that. Woo! That soaks it right up. Now I suppose I don't need to put this on the bottom, but overkill is my middle name. Okay, get some edges. Definitely want to get the edges. I don't want this drawing the eye at all. Just black. Just there to protect everything. Okay. Oh man. You gotta be careful, this stuff gets everywhere. Okay, done. I'm gonna let this dry. Get my glasses out here and see what this is. A second coat may be applied if required. After drying, remove excess surface dye by rubbing briskly with a soft cloth. Do not see any excess dye. Okay, we'll come back when it's dry. Okay. Okay, and the other hand. Okay. They say you can never have too many clamps. I think I need a few more. This needs to cure for 12 to 24 hours, was it? Allow a minimum of 24 hours to cure. So I will come back tomorrow, which will be Sunday. Take the clamps off and put the shelf on. Should be done. The glue is dried, and I just have a little bit of touch-up work to do on the leather. And otherwise, this project is done. Let me go ahead and put the shelf on and we'll see what it looks like altogether. Altogether, not bad. I learned a lot doing this process, from making the brackets to forging the hooks and putting the whole thing together. It was a great learning experience and will no doubt help me in the future as I continue to learn how to blacksmith and do projects with metal and wood. I'll be coming at you next week with another project. It's going to be getting cold here soon. We're moving into fall, which reminds me of something that I've been wanting to do all summer. So catch me next week as I build something for my garden. Thanks for watching.